If you just start and you just do it, then you can see your progress along the way.
Exactly.
And that's kind of fun.
Yes. It's like, I think I'm a piece of shit, but you better not think I'm a piece of shit, because how dare.
If agents give me a client, you best believe I'm reaching out to them all the time. So
Are you sure you're an alcoholic? Because you're very healthy. You seem very well in the mind. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Elite Zone, where we sit down with real estate agents in, we're in San Diego, the beautiful San Diego, but really we'll talk to anybody anywhere, right? Because we're trying to deliver as much value as possible to real estate agents out there, mortgage professionals, people in title, pretty much, any aspect of marketing or real estate. And today I've got somebody special here. She has just admitted that her parents were hippies right before we started recording. Her name is Randa DeHaan. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really good. You said you were an open book, so
Yes.
Hopefully it's okay that I shared that.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, so my name is Randa. The funny kind of cool story around that is my mom is adopted.
Okay.
So her name's Kelly. But when she was 24, she went and found her birth mom.
Okay.
And her birth mom named her Randa. So on her original birth certificate, her name was Randa because her birth dad's name was Randy. So a couple years later, she had me. So that's where that came from.
I thought maybe I used to work at New Venture Escrow. You ever heard?
Yes.
You heard of them? Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't know what she is now. She's a bigwig now, but her
name's Randa.
Rhonda.
Oh, Rhonda, but it's spelled R-A-N-D-A.
R-A-N-D-A.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, wow, small world. And I was like, maybe, you were like Persian or...
So I've gotten asked that all the time if I'm Middle Eastern, because I guess
like,
it's a Middle Eastern.
Are you a Persian princess? Really,
I'm actually not. I'm just a white girl.
Just a white girl? I know. I'm like 85% Swedish, so I'm about as white as they come as well.
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, like, what's your ethnicity? And I was like, I'm just white. And they were like, but what kind of white?
Yeah, like, I always say, like, I'm at like the Starbucks. I'm like, I'm basic bitch white.
Yeah.
Like, that's how.
I'm just like a mix of European white.
Right.
Like Italian, French, German.
Got it. You're a mutt too then.
I'm a mutt,
cool.
yeah.
Right on. Mutts rule. All right. Well, look, how did you get started doing what you do? Mm-hmm. Tell people, what do you do? Who do you serve? Let's just start there and then we'll build out.
So I am a mortgage lender.
Uh-huh.
I started about 3.5 years ago. I started in September of 2021, and I started as a loan officer assistant. Kind of weird full circle moment there. Mm-hmm. My dad actually did mortgages when I was a kid for years, and he got his best friend into it. Long story short, my dad kind of, made a lot of mistakes and ran his life into the ground a little bit. We don't have a relationship or anything. Okay. So needless to say, he doesn't do mortgages anymore. But his friend that he got into it stuck with it and has been doing it for the last 25 years. Mm-hmm. And so, like, flashback 3.5 years ago, I was working at Wells Fargo. I was there for almost 5 years. Ooh. I was a teller,
really?
Lead. Yeah. I was a lead. I was a manager there for a little bit. And I was really looking to get out of like the corporate world.
Yeah, the rat race, right?
Yeah.
Something
and just
where you have a little more freedom to choose your own income. And
100%. Yeah. And even like just being in like the same four walls all day long was starting to give me anxiety.
Yep. No kidding. I can't imagine being a bank. Like, are they nice to work for, Wells Fargo? Do they treat...
Wells Fargo was like a good company in my early 20s. Like, I appreciated the job that it gave me. Nice. And it was like good health benefits and better pay than a lot of my friends were making. Right, and it was good to put on a resume. And even getting into mortgages now, like all the lingo and credit stuff that I learned. Right. Yes, like how to help people navigate through like credit maintenance and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
But during that time, 2021... I just kind of like shot it out on Facebook that I was looking for a more flexible job, maybe hybrid, work from home. And my dad's old friend this was when interest rates were like 2 and 3%.
Sure.
So he was really busy. And so he was like, I'm actually looking for an assistant. So like, that's why I said it's like weird full circle moment.
Right.
I started working for my dad's friend that he got in the business way back in the day. And that's how I learned mortgages. So
Nice.
I worked for him and really was just kind of like processing his loans.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with that, it was cool because I learned how to originate a mortgage.
Right.
But because he had been in it for so long, he didn't teach me a whole lot in terms of like business development or lead generation
Yep.
or things like that.
Sure.
So I worked for him for about 6 months, and then interest rates kind of started to creep up. He got less busy. I really liked it. So I decided to get my license, and I found another mortgage company and have been building my business since then. So really, I service buyers.
Yep.
That's like my main, obviously, mortgages.
Yep.
So first-time buyers, veterans, investors,
Yeah.
all of the above.
Right.
And being a mortgage lender is interesting because I chose to go the route of building my business by connecting with realtors. And so I kind of have two sets of clients. I have my realtors, and then I have my actual clients.
Yep. Yeah, it's it's like, you're like the high, if you think about it, like the high ROI is for you to get in tight with like the top agents.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. But the consumer or the buyer is actually your client.
Exactly.
So I completely understand that. So you did you just like hit the ground running with networking groups, or was your dad's like this guy? Was he like, hey, here's like what I would do? Like, did you get some help out there, or did you just like go crazy?
Yeah, so not really with him. So after I stopped working with him, I switched gears, worked for a different company, so I wasn't working under him anymore. And that company, I'm actually not with them anymore. I was with them for like 2.5 years. They were based in Chicago. So
Right.
as my business started picking up here, I switched to a local broker that I'm with now.
Yeah.
But that company taught me a lot in terms of, hey, start building a following on social media, follow realtors in the area, ask them to get coffee,
Yep.
join networking groups, like investor groups, all the things. So
you're in a BNI group then?
I tried to be in one, but mortgage lenders and realtors are like the hardest ones to get into.
There's always mortgage
Oh my
lender.
God.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah, so I'm not in a BNI group, but I started my own weekly coffee hours with an escrow rep that I work closely
Really?
with, Brianna. Yeah. Shout out Brianna Prince. She's the best.
Oh yeah, I think she's gonna come on too.
Oh, cool.
That's so strange.
Okay,
because
well, that
we
funnels right
messaged
in.
we messaged her and she was like, "Yeah, I'd like to do that."
Yeah.
So okay, so you guys are tight.
Yes, she's like my partner.
Okay,
So-
call me back, Brianna.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll shout you guys out.
Shout it out.
Yeah. But yeah, so we started a weekly coffee hours. So we have like contractors and cleaners, and it's like our own little BNI group. It's really
Sweet.
fun. So that's every Monday at Bocce Coffee, 10 a.m.
Oh, cool.
But so yeah, I started all the networking events. I was kind of just doing everything. So like I was door knocking with realtors.
No way.
Oh yeah, open houses. I was cold calling realtors.
Oh my God, you're a badass.
Which-
I cannot. I've had solar people on the show before,
Okay.
and like other agents, and I'm just too sensitive to door knock. I just can't do it. Like I have a real estate license, and when I first moved out here, I was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, and like
Yeah.
I just had this false conception of what it takes to actually do.
Oh, 100%.
So it didn't work, but I went in, I was knocking on doors, and like after the third time, somebody was like, "Get off my property." I was just like, I can't do this.
So I've learned, and a lot of the guy realtors liked bringing me along with them because the
course.
reaction to like a girl knocking on the
Sure.
door is way
Much
nicer.
different. Yeah, much different.
So I think that helped. But yeah, I was doing all of the above. So I ended
Cool.
up actually getting my first deal from a realtor that I cold called, and he just liked how I sounded on the phone, referred me VA clients.
Nice.
Which have become recurring clients
Yeah,
for me.
that's great. You're like kind of niche down a little bit.
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
As a marketer, that's the biggest thing is I work with a lot of different companies, in different verticals, different business sectors and things like that. But when I work with other marketers and they're just like, well, I can help any business.
Right.
I'm like, well, right. I get it. But the more you niche down, like you can have multiple different verticals, like, first time buyers and VA, like you can do that. But if you niche in, then your messaging speaks, it's more effective.
100%.
Right. So if you just cast the net way too wide, it's harder. So that's cool that you you kind of have different, like, yes, you work with buyers and you can help anybody, but like, are you more passionate about the VA group, or is there any like specific groups of people that you're more passionate about helping, like first time buyers or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say there's kind of three answers to that question. So one is first time buyers. I love helping them. I think I have a good kind of nurturing energy to me where I enjoy walking people through the process and explaining things fully. Sometimes when you work with investors, they're like, yeah, I get it. And you kind of, don't have to do all that.
Right.
So I enjoy that process. And they're usually a lot more excited about it too, which makes me feel really fulfilled.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I do love VA. That's like one of my favorite ones. And then they're really easy to refinance as well.
Yeah.
So that makes it like an easy kind of recurring client.
Yep.
And I think just because that was like my first deal, the guy I originally started working for specialized in VA. So I just know a lot about it, like ins and outs or tricks that you can do with the VA loan or some benefits that you can utilize and stuff like that.
Nice.
And they make for great referral partners.
Yeah.
Because like the VA community, the military is tight.
Yeah,
they're loyal. So like that is really awesome. And then my third answer is just like real estate agents, helping them grow their business.
Yes.
So
That's
those
what
are
we're
kind
all
of like,
about here.
Yeah, those are like my three niches.
Okay.
And I don't know if you listen to Alex Hormozy or anything.
All the time.
Yeah. He always talks about that, how like your content should turn off 80% of people.
Yeah.
And like you only are looking for the 20%.
Yeah, look, you're not for everybody. I mean, and that's like the thing is, I'm a big Gary Vee fan too.
Okay.
Love Gary Vee, and he says if you're putting things out and it's raw and it's authentic, if somebody takes the time to like leave a shitty comment because they don't like it, like whatever. Like
honestly, it's helping the algorithm.
Yeah, right. Like it's if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. But I looked at your social profile. I looked at your content, and you do a lot of the green screen.
Yes.
Like, hey guys, here's what's going on. You got the screen behind you, and that's very effective.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your content strategy, how you help agents, but more so like what's working in your marketing, and especially like social media it's hard, because it's always changing, and it's hard. I feel like people think they analyze it too much.
Totally.
It's like just get on the camera and go.
Yeah,
right?
and stay consistent.
I
think that's like, it's so funny. I was looking back at some of my old videos when I first started, and they're like so bad. And my voice is like, I totally changed it. It was like my customer service voice. Yeah. And so the other cool thing though is like, if you just start and you just do it, then you can see your progress along the way.
Exactly.
And that's kind of fun.
Yes.
And I think as you start putting, like for me, as I started putting just more and more content out there, content I enjoyed, that I was like good at, that was showing my personality, the feedback that I got was really positive.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what kept me going. And I don't have like a huge following. I think I'm just under 4,000 followers on Instagram. So it's nothing crazy.
But you don't need like followers are great, but like everybody dotes on followers.
Well, and it's translating those followers into business relationships.
Exactly.
And that I feel like I've almost perfected.
Yeah. I mean, the content that you have it's valuable. It's free.
Right.
And, you do it right in the sense that you kind of use from what I've seen is you use your social media as like kind of like a radio announcement. Like you're not like, download this free guy. You kind of like, you give valuable information.
Yeah.
And you encourage people to engage with you, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think that's good. And Hormozy's great. I've got, $100 million offers.
Oh, yeah. And leads.
Yeah. $100 million leads. And, I use it for when I do meta ads for folks. I use a lot of his, like constantly testing different creatives and different colors and different fonts. And, like you could have a white background that doesn't do well. It's the same exact ad, but put an orange background and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So,
well, and that part's kind of fun. If you have like any sort of creativity to you, I think that's where social media can be really fun.
Yeah.
And kind of just learning about the different platforms.
Yeah.
Like I've learned Instagram is very much brand building. So picking maybe 3 to 5 things that you want people to associate with you and your brand.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's mortgages.
Yep.
working out,
Yep,
mindset,
exactly.
being a dog mom, like
Yep.
all of those things. And so people associate those things with me when they see my page.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have to come up with those yourself. Sometimes other people will tell you what they are. Like,
Sure.
oh, you work out all the time. Oh, this. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, that's what's registering in people's minds. I'm
Yep.
going to do more of that.
That's it. Yeah, I like that. When I get a new client and they don't know what to post on social media, I always tell them pick 5 things that are like core to you. But I've never had somebody say sometimes your audience will tell you what those are.
Right.
So that's interesting. So like I do that same thing. Like for mine, you know, I'm obsessed with my daughter. She's all over my social media. I don't give a shit if people are like, don't put your kids on social. I'm putting mine on there.
Yeah.
I'm been sober, no drugs, no alcohol for 12 years.
Woo.
So I do, you know, lots of stuff in the sober community and it's
Very
very
cool.
spiritual, love meditation. I'm in a band, serious band. We tour, we play show, like, you know, so it's, and I'm a foodie, you know, I didn't get this body type by avoiding like pizza places. You know what I'm saying? So like if you go on my page, you're going to see that stuff.
Right.
And interestingly enough, you get business from that.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten business off of vulnerable videos that I've made talking about how I'm struggling with, you know, when I was going through my divorce, I was, you know, and somebody's like, God, you just seem like I'm going through that same thing. I feel a connection with you. I want to hire you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, social media, and honestly, the business part of it is like, that's always going to be there.
Right.
But what actually attracts people in and makes that connection and makes them want to work with you is the personal things about yourself.
For sure.
So same with me. The more open I've been with, like, I've been pretty open about like how I went through a really toxic relationship
Yes.
right when I got into the business and
Right.
how I had to let go of that in order to succeed because that's just holding me back. Or even just some of the things that, so I've been sober for nine or 10 months now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and drinking used to be very much part of my lifestyle. And that was huge for me to let go of that. And so even just being open about those things, I do a masterclass every month with agents. And I did a whole like how to double your business because I 3 times my business in 2024.
There you go.
And so just kind of teaching them the things that I learned that I implemented. And a big part of that was mindset and personal growth and how if you're getting in your own way, it's almost impossible to succeed in business.
Right.
So just the more you share things like that, people are drawn into that because you're being vulnerable. It's not always the norm. And so
No, it's not. And it's admirable.
Yeah.
People are scared to do that. And I want to talk about the vulnerability thing. And first of all, I love that you've taken such a proactive approach. You know, like there's the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill W., said, yes, be anonymous, but not so anonymous that you can't help somebody.
100%.
Right. So it doesn't have to be, you know, the mindset of sobriety is not just about staying away from drugs and alcohol. You know, it's about acceptance. It's about humility. And that's like the biggest thing in business. Like this one thing, humility, like revolutionized my business because, you know, being an alcoholic, I'm an egomaniac with an inferiority complex.
Right.
So it's like, I think I'm a piece of shit, but you better not think I'm a piece of shit because how dare, you know what I mean? And so it's like, when I got into business, I'm like, well, I know everything. Like I've studied all this and I've worked this and I worked all these marketing director jobs and I know everything. And I had this like kind of, you know, like dickish attitude towards it. And then I was immediately humbled by a lot of people who knew a lot more about business than I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it and it was icky. And then I was just like, all right, you know what? I don't know shit about this. And the second I did that, it's like something clicked and I was like, I just started like being okay and accepting like this is where I'm at. Now I got to learn some stuff and maybe I should listen to other people.
Yeah.
You know, and humility, like that word comes from the Latin humus, which just means of the earth. It doesn't mean, you know, you're humiliated. It means that you're humble enough to say, okay, you know, I'm good at this, but hey, I don't know everything.
But I need work on some
I need to
things.
work on some things.
Well, and something that I think we find really common in business and maybe real estate specifically is people always trying to make themselves seem like they're doing the best.
For
right?
sure.
Like, oh, I'm so busy. I have all these deals. I have this. But they really have nothing.
Yeah.
And I've found myself in that situation too, where when I was new, I would go to these networking events and I would almost like lie about what I had going on.
Sure.
But then it was like, because I was making myself seem like, oh, I have all this going on, I was struggling financially and no one was giving me business because they thought I was so busy and all this stuff. So as soon as I kind of flipped that and just started being honest about what was going on, and, you know, I actually am really trying to get more clients and get more deals and help more people. People started respecting that and being like, okay, I'm going to help her out. I'm going to give her a shot. And
people want to help.
Yeah,
I found that if
people
want to help.
Totally. And if you tell them your goals, they're like, oh, how can I help you get there?
Exactly.
Especially if you're providing value and helping them reach their goals too. And that's kind of been my approach, because I know just from knowing a lot of realtors, their one comment is like, oh, lenders, escrow, all these people are just trying to like take from my business. Of course. And so I've always been like, well, how can we get business together?
Yeah, it's, you know, the San Diego. So I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right. That's where I grew up, and it's way different. It's much more collective. The business structure and community, like out here, everybody is so, like, what I've seen is like, my car, my kids, my business, my yacht. Look at my place and my company, and I'm the best. It's like really egotistical. And I don't think there's anything wrong with competition. So if you're out there and you're doing your thing and it's all about you, you know, God love you, do your thing. But I think the competition, in a certain sense, is kind of childish.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
It's like more collaboration than competition.
Why can't we both eat? Do you know how much money is floating around?
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like if just when you were like, hey, I got this mastermind and I'm doing this, I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, hey, maybe I should ask and see if I can come learn something there.
Absolutely.
Meet some real estate agents. Maybe I can add some
Sponsor
value,
it.
do some some marketing training, some things like that. Because, you know, it's not to like go in and make myself look really good or take away from anybody else's plate, but a community is how everybody flourishes.
Yeah. And that's kind of, so the masterclass that I do, we bring in a top producer or someone that's an expert in their field, come in and teach agents about that thing. And the cool thing is we all benefit from it, right? Like the agents get to learn. The person speaking is usually having a goal of either building a team or wanting more off markets,
trying to get better at speaking.
Better speaking.
That's what I did when I was like, I tried to take anywhere that I could do a presentation.
Yeah.
Because, and it's crazy because, like, you know, as a performer, like I'm a lead singer, I'm in a band, I've been up on stage in front of thousands of people, and like that never really phases me. But if there's like 10 people watching me and I'm trying to do a business presentation, like that was terrifying.
It's nerve-wracking. Yeah. And it just takes practice.
Yes.
So even if you practice the first couple times, and this relates to content too, and you're fucking up, it's like, you just keep going, and at some point you won't mess up anymore.
In the beginning, quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Because people get into like analysis by paralysis, right? Well, I did this video, but one strand of my hair was out of place, and now everybody's gonna, you know, they're gonna say this and they're gonna say that.
Yeah.
And then like,
well, and the other thing that I've learned too is like, no one cares about you as much as you care about you.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
in
what
3
they're doing
seconds,
is
they're on to their day.
Yes, exactly. And so where you're sitting there watching your video 100 times over, all your views are from yourself.
Yep,
it's like,
exactly.
So
plus, like, if you go to like TikToks, like I've literally seen a trending TikTok with like millions of views, and it's like 2 kids just like bobbing their head for like 8 seconds, and then they're done. Like there's no value in that. But but that, like, you know, it's kind of low consciousness stuff, but it like just go. And that's,
well,
you know.
And I don't know if you've found this too, but like the more content, it's like at first when you are doing content or maybe speaking in front of people and stuff, you feel a little insecure about it. Like you're noticing your flaws or your things. But then I've found almost the reverse starts to happen, where the more you do it, you're like, oh, I actually don't look that bad. Oh, people are actually saying good things about this.
Yes.
Oh, this is actually a strength of mine.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And then it builds the confidence.
Absolutely.
So it's like at first it does feel uncomfortable. And that's a saying that I've always kind of liked to remind myself of is nothing is hard. It's just new.
Yeah.
So if something feels hard, it's just because you haven't done it enough times.
The first time you went to the gym, you weren't like, I love this. I'm great at this.
No, I was in the room in the back with the dumbbells, like trying to figure out what to do. And now I'm like,
I hope nobody's looking at me. They're going to be like, who's this newbie or new person?
Which, and if you kind of like reverse engineer it, like when we're in our heads, we're thinking about like, oh, everyone's looking at me. But if I kind of like widen my perspective and I see someone that is new at something, I'm like, oh, respect. They're trying something out. Or
For
like,
sure.
I'm so glad you're here.
For
Or I'm
sure.
so glad you're doing it and you're going to get better.
Right.
So it's like,
Yes.
when we look at it from the lens of how we view other people,
Yes.
usually we can start to view ourselves.
Are you sure you're an alcoholic? Because you're very healthy. You seem very well in the
I don't
mind.
think-
Because I'm
don't
mentally ill. I don't know about you. You seem very well put together.
So it's funny. It's funny because I would never necessarily classify myself as like an alcoholic.
Gotcha.
But I definitely used alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Got it.
So it was never like I needed to wake up and like drink every single day.
Okay.
But I was using it to distract
Self-medicate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, and also I just think about my mindset around things, my beliefs around things, my habits, my lifestyle, the people I'd hang around with.
Yeah.
All completely different
Oh
if you
my
looked at
God.
myself 2 years ago. So it's really
I get that.
interesting to like, even when I see videos of myself or pictures of myself, I'm like, who is that?
Right.
It's so
and
weird.
that brings me to another thing that's really, really interesting is this obsession with age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got sober at 27, end of 27.
I'm 27.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right after my dad died. I'm 40
Oh.
now, if you can believe it.
You look very young.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm like,
I'm sure you get that a lot.
I had a beard before and I turned 40 and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. We need the baby face
I'm a kid.
back.
I'm a kid. I'm 12, but anyways, this whole like I grew up at like 28
Yeah.
really quickly and I did not enjoy it. And I was like a toddler,
Mm-hmm.
an emotional toddler. And like when I used to drink, it was 24/7 blackout, getting thrown in detox,
Wow.
suicide attempts, waking up in a different state, not knowing how I got there.
gosh.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really bad, right? And, I sobered up, but I had to learn all of this stuff in a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then, like, for a decade, I was like, oh, my God, like, I'm too old. Like, my younger siblings are doing better than I, like,
Right.
in the whole ego thing. But it's like people are living longer and longer now. And the only way that you'll fail at something is if you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel like the mindset part of it is it's so important.
100%.
So important.
And if you look at anyone that's had success in anything, music, acting, business.
Colonel
all of
Sanders
the-
was like 70 by the time
Well, and
KFC
if you look
took
at it,
off.
they all just never gave up.
They never gave
like
up.
they never took no for an answer.
Yep.
They just kept trying.
Yep.
And I think that's what can stop people sometimes. And especially when it comes to like business, building a business, it takes a few years
Yeah.
to see any sort of return.
Yeah, well,
And
Hermosi's
so-
story.
Yeah.
It's like failed business. I failed again. I went bankrupt. I lost
Totally.
millions. And then, boom, this idea worked.
Yeah. So it's like just keep trying and stick in it long enough to see the return back.
Exactly.
I think that's like the key.
Yeah,
because most
that's
people,
good.
it's like, and that's where things like meditation,
Hmm.
working out, mindset, reading, like knowledge, surrounding yourself with better people.
Yes.
That's where it makes a difference because that builds resilience
For
and
sure.
you need resilience
Yeah.
to do well in business.
Yeah, and if I like wiggle room,
Mm-hmm.
and so I need people around me that are like, dude, like you're better than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like accountability.
It's not like you're fucking up, but it's
There
hey,
should
you're
almost
better
be,
than this.
there should be business sponsors.
Yeah.
How AA has sponsors.
No, absolutely. And there is. You can get a business coach,
That's
right?
true. That's
but,
true.
But I get what you're saying, but there's like these masculine life coaches, and I know like some of this like toxic masculinity stuff is a little off-putting.
Yeah.
But there are a few out there that are they're like men's coaches.
Yeah.
And I've seen some content, I've seen some things, and I've resonated with some of that stuff where there's like life coaches that help with business, but they help with like the stuff that, like men crying and
Yeah.
sharing emotions. And, we're not like just these like, robotic, emotionless, we're alive. Like we feel
Yeah.
pain, like, and I kind of like that aspect
I'm
to it.
excited because I feel like those conversations are starting to become more common.
Yeah.
And like, especially around men, that's like such a thing that hasn't been addressed. Like
Yeah.
no emotions, you keep going, you
Yep.
don't talk about things.
Yep.
Even if you look at like men's friendships, it's like they're not really talking about anything real.
Yeah.
And so that makes me excited that the culture around that is
Yes.
starting to shift.
It is. It is.
So-
I think it is. And, that's really important. And especially like the world, like I love just kindness. Like the world needs more kindness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like everything that's going on, and like on social media, people are just eviscerating one another right now over this,
yeah.
that, and the other thing. And like, I get it, but I don't know. I just, I try to be kind. Like that's like the biggest compliment somebody can give me, to say like, you're a kind man.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone that's like just complimenting. I feel like the best compliments are when it's like, you have great energy, you're so kind, you're generous, or you're smart. Like all of those compliments are just, they make you feel good.
Helps
and those
in
are
business
things
too.
Totally. I always am like a believer of what you put out always comes back. And so even when it comes to like output of activities and generating business,
Yes.
it's like if you're pouring all your energy into something, sometimes you don't even see the return come back from that one thing. It might come from a different avenue.
Absolutely.
But as long as you're like outputting the energy, it's always going to flow back.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Well, look, tell me how you help real estate agents.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear about, like, I mean, obviously I know you partner with them, and you can help each other's with your book of business, but I almost said that like I knew you help each other's with your book of business.
Like a Wall Street
Hey,
guy.
how you doing? Huh? But like, tell me about the trainings, the masterminds. Like, what's the feedback you get from that? And more importantly, like, how can agents find you? How can they check that out?
Yeah, absolutely.
So explain this to me.
So first of all, if you're interested in any of the events that I'm talking about here, you can go to lendwithranda.com/events, and I have everything on there. But every Monday I do a coffee hours with Brianna.
Yep.
And it's really casual. We basically just buy coffee for everyone. We always talk about what's working in our business, what we need support in, and it's a really collaborative conversation.
And is this only agents?
It's anybody.
So I can come.
Yeah, you can
guys
come.
won't throw me out.
No.
You won't say you're a sleazy marketer. Get out of here.
No, you should come.
Okay, I
yeah.
will come. I'll
yeah,
check it out.
we
I'd
have
love to.
like that's the one where I said it's kind of like our own BNI. So it's cool because a lot of people share business with each other there too. So it's like we have a contractor that comes, a cleaning service, title rep.
Sweet.
Me and like mortgage, escrow, agents.
Yep.
There's like marketing, all of the above.
Nice.
So it's really fun, and we always do like a mindset table topic of the day. So we all share our answer. That's every week. And then once a month, we do the masterclass where we have a top producer come. They get to learn about different things in real estate, whether it's flipping, investing, lead generation, doubling your business, building a team, like whatever you name it, we've covered it.
Okay.
And then I also do a women in business book club. So that's once a month as well. And we do books all around brand building, mindset, money topics, all of personal growth, all of the things. So I feel like a big part of my strength is relationship building and adding value, whether it's knowledge or mindset. Those are kind of like the two things that I focus on.
Yes.
And really helping agents, encouraging them. I'm creative in my marketing ideas as well. And I like to find ways to partner with agents to get business that are a little bit outside the box.
I love that.
We'll do
that's great.
Community beach cleanups or toy drives, or I've done door knocking for Humane Society donations.
Yeah.
So
you're not like, well, let's do an open house, but this time balloons.
right.
Right? This time
get
a
this.
QR code.
Exactly.
I hear you.
So it's like, and yes, like it is some of that stuff too, because
course.
the basics always work,
Sure.
but it's always like and this is kind of my mindset when I first started was I want to do things that even if I don't see a return out of it, I'm still going to feel like I did something good. So even if I'm throwing a beach cleanup with a realtor and only one person comes and it's my mom, like we still have a day at the beach and we only spent $30 on pizza. Like it's like easy.
Wow.
And so, but we've seen clients from it because like I said, energy output usually always brings something.
It does.
And
well,
what
and footwork always brings results.
Yeah.
Right? Like so even if you go and help somebody move.
Right.
Like you never know. Maybe they invited another buddy over there and he's like, oh, I happen to do this. Like it.
Well, and I found just like the more you're doing things and if real estate or business, whatever it is who you are, that's just naturally going to come up. Like
Yep.
I just closed a client that I met through a beach volleyball league that I joined last year.
Yeah.
So it's like just doing more things like that, and they get to know you. They add you on social media. So that's some of the ways that I partner with agents. Other ways is helping them with their content.
Yes.
So I'll always do content days with agents. I always say I'm really good at implementing.
Right.
So anything that an agent wants to implement in their business, whether it's content or marketing strategies or open house things or whatever it could be, I'm a really good partner to help you execute on it.
Nice.
Same with follow-up. Because relationships are so important to me, follow-up is a really big strength of mine. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was always like reaching out to my aunt and my nana and my like all my family
Really?
and my friends, and like I was just always super important. And so I think that kind of naturally translated into my clients. So if agents give me a client, you best believe I'm reaching out to them all the time. And that's kind of been something I've partnered with agents with too. Like, hey, share your dead leads with me. Share your cold leads with me.
So what? Okay. So then what? But how do you reach out to somebody like that over and over and over again without feeling like you're bothering them?
So my rule of thumb is unless you block me, I'm going to keep reaching out.
Which is amazing. But what do you say? Are you just like, hey, it's me again. Hey, it's me again. Hey, it's like what?
Well,
how
so,
do you know what I mean? Like, how do
yeah.
you build so you're not just like regurgitating? Are you ready to do business yet? Or,
yeah.
You know, like,
and that's kind of where I've found like the more that I'm honestly like pouring into myself, the
Yes.
more I can pour into others. And
Okay.
so my follow-ups look like sending people a podcast recommendation or a book recommendation or even, and I think sometimes people overthink things like where they have to have a market update or ask if they're wanting
Yeah.
to buy or sell or if they're
Right.
ready, where sometimes my reach outs are, hey, how are you?
yeah.
And that's it. And then it just strikes up a conversation. Or, hey, have you been looking at houses with X realtor? Like,
Yeah.
is there any payment breakdowns I can provide to you?
Ah.
Or if there's, I mean, I know a lot of agents too. So as I'm hearing of what clients are wanting, it's like, hey, this agent just posted their new listing. This might be relevant for this person.
Gotcha.
And that's where social media has helped as well, where I do like the payment breakdown videos for agents' listings, gets more exposure on there. Sometimes I have clients that are interested in them. And that was kind of my goal when I first started and I was reaching out to all these agents was I want everyone to know who I am to an extent so that if I have a client that's putting an offer on their listing, like there's a relationship there, even if we're not directly doing business together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of been like my follow-up strategy is just finding different ways that aren't business related to reach out to people.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, especially with real estate. Like, I'm an agent. So is my brother. So is my aunt.
Right.
So is my uncle. So is my neighbor. Like, you know, that, and that's
Everyone.
Right. Everybody is. And so, you know, nobody gives a shit that you're an agent. They care who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Which is why the personal branding thing is so important. And, you know,
And I
being
found like the
vulnerable
podcast recs, people love that, especially if it's something like Mel Robbins or like
yeah,
someone.
Mel's awesome.
Yeah, or like it's relatable topics, or even like the Huberman Lab where it's talking about like health or like
Yes.
mindset or how to optimize things.
Yeah.
And so
Huberman,
those, yeah.
how to grow your testicles. Yeah. Hey, man.
Send that to your
Hey,
client.
dude. Hey, look, man. Look, I'm just saying, like, if you want a bigger testicles, you know, check
And
this
you
out.
know what? They will thank you.
Hey, for sure.
They will do business with you.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Look, you know, it's not something that you don't have to be embarrassed about it. I mean, hey, we all have our
things that we want to work on.
for sure. But I like that, and
Yeah.
you know, I think that the hesitancy from people, you know, using content is again, you know, the embarrassment. And like, what if I say something that's inappropriate? What if I
Right.
say something somebody doesn't like, or what do I say something that doesn't resonate? But sending, and especially if you know your potential client,
Yeah.
you're like, oh well, last time, you know, I was talking with her, I saw on her social media she, you know, like likes to crochet. And
Yeah.
then, you know, you send like a new crafting podcast, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
something's like, oh okay, this person actually takes an interest in me personally.
Well, and even
right?
like dumb things. Like I went through my closet the other day and I just posted 10 different things that I was like, I'm getting rid of these. If anyone wants them, like I've never worn them before.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a client that I had pre-approved like a year ago. She hasn't bought yet. She's just kind of like she's waiting for a specific complex for like something to open up there. And she was like, I want it. And so like that was just like a way to stay in touch with her too. Just personal things. I think the other thing too is as you keep following up with people and like you just keep reaching out even if you think you're being ghosted, you'll start to see that it works. Like, for example, I have this girl right now. She just got, so this is kind of an interesting story. I had a realtor introduce me to her.
Okay.
And I pre-approved her. We like got along great. She ends up going on Zillow and finding an agent through Zillow. So she's not working with the agent that referred me anymore.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, listen, happy to work with whoever you want to work with. I'll always recommend this agent, but you know, whoever you want to is fine with me. Like I'd still love to help you.
Sure.
And so I've been working with her. Out of nowhere, she like put an offer in on something, didn't get accepted, and then she just ghosted me. Like I called her 4 times, I texted her like 10 times, I sent her voice notes, no response.
Showed up at her front door.
I'm like, oh, she must want to see me in person.
Knocked on her window.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Randa.
Me again. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I felt like.
Right.
And so I kind of was giving up on her.
Right.
And this past Friday, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to send her a text. Hey, did you end up purchasing anything?
Yeah.
And she responds, what are your interest rates right now? She had just got her offer accepted that day. And now she's like, okay, your rates are better. And she's going with me. So it's like, once you see wins personal. From that. Yeah.
And it's not personal, right?
I think people just don't like confrontation.
No.
And so if they did start working with someone else, they don't want to hurt your feelings. So they'd rather just ignore you.
Yep.
But it's like, if you keep popping up and you're like, hey, I still want to help. Hey, I still want to help. Hey, I still want to help. They might give you a shot.
Okay. So then I'll tell you what, I have never done like targeted DM, like outreach for my business on social media. I've done posts. I've done, used tools to like create groups and reach out in other ways, but is there value in having a list of people and you just once every week, hey, what's going on? Love to talk to you. Love your, like in generating leads that way?
100%.
Do you think that'll work?
Yeah. So I actually implemented, this was a year ago, and I'm actually currently doing the challenge again with 70 other agents. And we're doing 75 hard business edition.
Oh, nice.
And so I did this in 2023. And I think it's a big reason of why I was able to 3 times my business in 2024. And it's basically 7 activities that you do every single day for your business for 75 days. And one of the things is 10 DMs. So whether it's commenting on people's stories or just sending them a DM or whatever, and making it personal, right? Like instead of just commenting like fire emoji on someone's gym pic, like actually writing something that can strike up conversation.
Yes.
And
that's I love that.
That changed my engagement on social media. Like as soon as I started engaging more on social media, the engagement back was like tenfold.
Nice.
So yes, 100%. I think DMs to people really helps with lead generation. And, obviously my strategy is a little bit different than like agent strategy because I have a big following of realtors. Right. So like that's who I'm reaching out to. But I also was reaching out to past high school friends. I pre-approved 2 girls that I worked with when I was 14 years old at my first job just because I still had them on socials. So it's like you can still utilize the community that you already have, and social media is a way to network with hundreds of people at one time
for free.
Yeah, for free. And you don't have to put yourself anywhere like a networking event or something like that.
Wow. Well, look, guys, you heard it from Randa. You are a certified badass. I think I am really, really impressed. So look, if you're an agent out there and you want somebody to help you with content, build your business, just somebody that's going to bring a great personality, lots of energy, and that truly wants your success, there she is right there. Tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so Instagram, Lend with Randa, TikTok, Lend with Randa. My phone number, email is all on there. Lendwithranda.com is my website. You can sign up for my weekly newsletter where I send interest rate updates, events going on, podcasts, book recommendations. It also has like what else do I have? Events on there. Everything is on my website. So
nice.
Yeah.
Go check that out, guys. And again, if you like the show, comment, subscribe, follow, share it. Even if you don't like it, go. If you're a hater, go ahead and tell us, how crappy we are. We like that too.
It helps the algorithm.
Helps the algorithm, right? We're going up and away. All right. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Elite Zone. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.